Muted.
Yeah, good evening everyone. This is Vikram. We'll start the session. Hope everyone can hear me. Please confirm. Can all of you hear me? Yeah. Thanks, Abhi. Thanks, bro. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for confirming. Today we will continue with today we'll start control statements. A couple of topics I have left it, like precedence, operator precedence, and bitwise operators. We'll take care of that after control statements are done. Okay. So let's see what we have in today's session. So we will start with control statements today, and we'll cover the other control statements tomorrow. Okay. So what we will see today is like different types of control statements, like selection, iteration, and jump statements. And mostly we will concentrate on selection statements today. That is if else, if statement, and switch statements. And then finally, what are the difference between if else and switch statements? Okay. Excuse me. So in our previous session, we just had some basics on arrays, on single-dimensional arrays. So if you need how to handle two-dimensional arrays, we can have one session or half of a session dedicated to that particular topic to know how to handle two-dimensional arrays and how to do some basic operations on two-dimensional arrays. Please let me know if you need it, or you can drop an email to intuition.java training @gmail.com, intuition.javatraining@gmail.com. If I see like if you need more, if more people say yes, we will go ahead and have a half-an-hour session for practicals on two-dimensional arrays, how to handle two-dimensional arrays. Okay. Otherwise, we'll continue. So let us start with the control statements. So why do we call this as control statements? So that is the first question. So we know that the program executes statement by statement from top to down, right? If we have 10 statements, the first statement will get executed, and then second statement in the same order. Okay. Yeah, Kavita is telling we can have 2D arrays. That is only practicals, Kavita. Okay. So we'll have after control statements, we will have one session for two-dimensional arrays plus the other things like bitwise operators and operator precedence. Okay. After that is today is the Thursday, Friday, and Monday we will have that session. 2D how to handle two-dimensional arrays plus bitwise operator and operator precedence. Okay. So the statements get executed one after the other, right? So, but with control statements, we can control the flow of execution. That is, we can change the execution path based on the state of a program when the program is executing. Okay, that is why what are we doing here? We are trying to control the flow of execution. The flow is normally from top to bottom, right? So we are trying to control the flow of the program execution based on some state of a program. Okay, that is why these are called as control statements. Okay, in Java we can categorize into all these statements, control statements. What are all the control statements that are available in Java? We can categorize them into three categories. That is selection statements, iterations, and jump statements. Okay, so selection statements is like it provides a different path of execution. Okay, different path of execution based on some conditions. Okay, some condition of an expression or the state of a variable. It need not have to be a Boolean or a Boolean variable or some other this thing. Okay, it need not have to be Boolean. It can be integer or some other value. Okay, we will say what are all those things. So what are we going to do in selection statements? We will select a set of statements that needs to be executed based on the value of an expression or state of a variable. State means the value of a variable. Okay, we will see what are those things. Okay, state of a variable or the result of an expression. Okay, and then iterations. In selection statement, we have seen one particular statement, that is if statement, right? We will go in depth today. Okay, to cover other variations of if statement. Okay, so the next control statement is our iterations. So we have seen for loop, which executes a particular set of statement, single statement or a particular set of statement, particular number of times, right? It executes a set of statement or single statement, particular set of statement, a particular number of times. So those are called iterations, so which enables us to repeat a single statement or set of statements a number of times or based on some condition. Okay, and then we have jump statements. We have something called as break, continue, and then go to statements. Go to statement is like it is old-fashioned now. No one uses go to statement. So those things like jump statements allow you to execute a program non-linearly from one path to other path. We are not selecting any paths from top to bottom, but we can jump a set of statements from one statement to other statement based on some conditions. We will see just the basic examples on jump statements, but we will dive deep into selection statements and iteration statements. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. So today we will concentrate, as I mentioned, today we'll concentrate on selection statements. Okay. So Java supports two selection statements. One is if and variations of if and the switch statement. Okay. So these two are very, very powerful and flexible. We will see why they are powerful and flexible. Okay. These are used to control the flow of execution based on the conditions that are evaluated based on the result of an expression or the state of a variable, right? Based on the result of an expression or state of a variable, which will be kind of like we will get the result during runtime. Okay, based on the value that is calculated during the runtime, the flow of control is controlled using this if else and the switch statement. Okay, that is why they are very powerful and flexible. If you see the code, you will see n number of places where, if you see actual application, you will see n number of places where you can, where these control statements are used. Okay, so let us start our session with the if-else statement. Okay, as we saw, it provides, if-else statement provides a branch statement, two-way branch statement. Okay, it provides what is called as two different paths of execution. Okay, two different paths of execution. One is your if path, and then other one is else path. Okay, here else part is optional. Okay, here the else part is optional. Here the else part is optional. So what are the two paths, two different paths that we are talking about here? We are talking about two different paths. One is this particular set of path, and another one is this else path. Okay, so this can be, as we have discussed, this can be a Boolean expression. Or an expression that results in a Boolean value. An expression that results in a Boolean value. Okay, and this else part is optional. Okay, else part is optional. So we have already seen if statement, right? This part is optional. That's why we did not consider else part during our introduction. During our early, initial phase of our sessions, right? So how does this particular if else statement executes? Okay, how does this particular if else statement executes? So this can be a Boolean expression or a Boolean value. Okay, so if the result of this condition or Boolean expression is true, these statements, statement 1 or statements 1 which I have mentioned, true means these set of statements are executed. Okay, one statement, it can be a single statement, it can be a single statement or a block of statements enclosed within brackets or curly braces. Okay, if false, okay, the statements that are within else block, right, those statements get executed. Okay, so if result of this condition is true, or if you just put true, these statements get executed, and if you put false, these statements get executed. Okay, these statements get executed. So let us see an example to see how that gets executed. Okay, so I have what is called as, we will try first if else statement. So what happens is, let us declare two variables, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20. Okay, so simple if statement is, if a is greater than b, zero, this is equal to 0. Okay, if a is greater than b, add two things, a plus b. This is just a simple example. Okay, else this is equal to a minus b. Okay, let us try to print if yeah, I'll come to you with I'll come to your question. Okay, okay, so let us try to execute. Okay, I'll come to you with. Okay, so what is this particular condition? If a is greater than b, okay, if a is greater than b, if a is greater than b, this set of statements get executed. Okay, if a is less than b, this set of statements get executed. Okay, so note that we have clubbed this. This is we know that this is a block of statement, right? Because they are enclosed within your brackets or curly braces. So these are your block of statements, right? So let me repeat this. If A is greater than B, these set of statements are executed. Otherwise, these set of statements are executed. Here, A is B. I mean, A is 10 and B is 20. Is A greater than B? No. A is 10 and B is 20, right? So statements which got executed is, sorry, I have put everything else. Okay. So if condition is false, okay, if condition is false means the condition that I have mentioned here is false. That is why the else part of statement get executed. So what is the first branch that if else provides? If block of if block. This is called as if block. Okay, this is your else block. Okay, so if the condition that we specify here is true, these set of statements are executed. Otherwise, this set of statements are executed. Let us try the same thing with different condition. Okay. Okay. Just to show that we can do any other statements, right? I have put these two statements. Otherwise, that is not needed. Okay. Let us try print. I can see sum is not calculated, but difference is minus 10 because 10 minus 20 is minus 10. Okay, let us try to do this one more time with different condition. That is, we will try to do less than B. Okay, less than B. Let us try to execute this statement again. Okay, so you can see now if condition is true, that is this particular statement is executed, right? So now you can see sum is 30, but the difference is same thing. Okay, we have calculated A minus B, right? So the difference is same, minus 10. Okay, as A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. So here also, so that is what I mean. We can based on the assume that we have not kind of like assigned or initialized these values. Okay, we have not initialized these values, and we are providing these values while executing this particular program. Say for example, we are giving or we are accepting the inputs from the keyboard. Okay, we are accepting the keyboard input from keyboard. That is runtime giving the values during the execution of the program, right? During the execution of the program. That is, we can give any values, right? We can give A is equal to 10, B is equal to 5, right? We can give A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. We can give A is equal to 30, B is equal to 20. Whatever the values, whatever the possible values, we can give A is equal to 10, B is equal to 10, right? In that case, nothing will get executed, right? Let us try that also. We'll try this condition as well. Okay, so this is not assignment operator. This is just a this is just a relational operator, right? So let us try. Is A is equal to B? No, this is A is not equal to B. So that is why else part is executed here. So you can see first condition is false. Is A greater than B? Is A equal to B? No, that is also false. In both two conditions, else part is executed, and in first condition, that is, second condition, A is less than B. That is the only condition which satisfies if condition. If block gets executed during that condition, this test, right? So we have seen these things, right? So anyone has any questions regarding if else statement? Please let me know. Okay, so Abid is asking what will happen if we don't initialize sum and difference? what will happen if we don't initialize someone difference? Does anyone know what will happen if we don't initialize someone difference here? Let us see what will happen. Sorry, I wanted to, yeah, sorry, this is some. So what happens? Unresolved compilation problem, right? So any value before using within these are all local variables, right? You can't use these local variables without initializing. Okay, yeah, Hugh answered this question. So local variables have to be initialized before they are used. Correct, you. Whatever you told is correct. But this condition does not hold with the instance variables. We will see what are those instance variables and how they will get initialized. Okay, so our default values are assigned to these variables. Okay, so that is why the local variables have to be initialized before they are used. Okay, it is not that they'll get assigned garbage values. They have to be used. I mean, they have to be initialized before they are used. Okay, so if I say like this, okay, if I say like that, then some, why this is not executed. Okay, so this is some, right? Okay, and this one is okay. Why it did not print this? Okay, here, this is else part. Just I gave which are the values getting calculated. Okay, so here you can see different things. Okay, whenever it gets executed, that particular thing I am printing. So here the sum should be printed. So I will copy paste this part. Okay, so that's what is happening now. All right. So how can we know? So Abhi is asking one more question. That is, how can we know they are local variables? Yeah, that's a good question, Abhi. So we in one of the sessions, I'm not sure whether you are present in that session. So anything that is within a block, right? We have discussed about scopes of variables, right? Scope of variables and lifetime of variable in one of the sessions. So in that session, we have discussed any variable, right? Any variable that is declared within a particular block of code, that is your flag brackets, right? it can be anywhere. This can be like this is whatever we are discussing here is a method block. Okay, this is a method block. That's why this is outside of this particular method, right? This public static void main. Outside of this particular public static void main, these variables, whatever the variables that we have defined here, right? They are not visible. That means these variables are localized to this particular set of block of statements. That is method block. Okay, that means localized within this particular block, highlighted right in blue, localized within this particular block. So they are not visible outside of this main method. That is why they are called local variables. So if you declare the same thing here, this is class level variables, that is instance variables. Okay, they are localized. Obviously, they are localized to this particular class, but that also depends on your access specifiers. Okay, whether they are localized or not. Okay, so we'll discuss all those things when we discuss about class. So here, as I mentioned, variables are not visible outside of this particular scope, the method scope, main scope. That's why these are all local variables. Did that answer your question a bit? Yes, so. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the different. Okay. The next slide. Yeah. Thanks, Abhay. Okay. So let us move on to the next statement. Yeah. How does that work? So we have seen. Right. The statement is nothing but any expression that results in your Boolean value. Okay. That results in our Boolean value. Okay. So statements. It can be a single statement. Yeah. One more point here is it can be a single statement or block of statements. So we know block of statement is in your flat brackets or curly braces. Okay. But when you are using single statement, okay, when you are using single statements, these curly braces are optional. Okay, say for example, you have if some condition a less than b, and then you want to say sum is equal to a plus b. Okay, in this case, we are using only one statement. In that case, curly braces are not required; they are optional. Okay, else this is equal to a minus b. Okay, this is equal to a minus b. In this case also, there is only one statement, so I have not included that curly brace to show that it is these are all single statements. Okay, but it is a best practice. Okay, it is a best practice to include curly braces even if there is a single statement. Okay, even if there is a single statement. So why do we need to include these curly braces? Say for example, in future, if you want to add some more statements, you can add it within your open and close curly braces within a particular block, if block or else block. Okay, and there may be situations where you might end up in a situation where you have curly braces for here, or you have only one statement here, and you have multiple statements in else block, but you forgot to close these statements within a block of curly braces, and you have one more statement here. Say for example, a is initialized to 0 again here. Okay, what your intention was like this. That means you find out the difference between a minus b, and then you do you initialize it again to 0. Okay, if you forget to close, open and close this package, this particular statement is considered as part of this if else block. But this is considered as a different statement altogether. This is not considered as part of your if block. I'm not sure whether you're following what I'm trying to tell. Let me try this way. Okay, it is always, as I mentioned, it is always a good practice to, if A is less than B, sum is equal to n is equal to a plus b, else a minus b. Okay, but this and then what I will do, a is equal to 0. Okay, what my intention was, this is my intention. Okay, that I will do later after some time. Okay, I mean maybe in future I will do this way. I'll add this particular statement. Okay, so but what I will do, I mean we have not included this particular flag bracket, right? So what I will do, I will just add this add this statement, that is my a is equal to 0. Okay, a is equal to 0, I will add it, but I will forget to mention my flag bracket. Okay, like this one, I'll mention this is dots. Okay, I'll forget this. So what will happen if I forget that this particular statement is not considered as part of your if else block? Okay, this is part of your if block, this is part of your else block. Okay, but this is not part of your if else block at all. This is not part of your if else block. So say for example you have some other statements which depends on your which depends on the condition of your a to initialize to 0, then the whole execution of the result, entire result of your program will become becomes invalid, right? Or it becomes I mean whatever you are expecting, that is not the one which you will be getting. The result of your program will not be what you would have expected. Okay, that is why in order to avoid all those kinds of confusions or forgetfulness, we'll just include, even if there is a single statement, we'll include them in flag brackets. Okay. So it's a good practice to include flag brackets even if there is or include them in a block even if there is a single statement. Okay, and then condition, as we mentioned, it is just it can be any expression. It can be which results in a Boolean value. As I mentioned, the else clause is optional. We have seen in our previous cases, right? We have considered only if block condition and then block of statements. So most often what we see is it involves relational operators, whatever we have seen, right? Relational, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So those are the relational operators which are most often used. Okay, but it is also possible to use a single Boolean value. Okay, single Boolean value. For example, so let us say, I'll show you an example. Okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, curly braces are optional in case of single statements, and also it depends. The execution depends on the condition of the result of a condition, that is Boolean expression, or your relational expression output of your relational expression. Okay, either true or false. True means your if block is executed. False means your else block is executed. Okay, so here what we can do is, it need not have to be an this relational expression or Boolean expression. Okay, it can be like true, as we mentioned, right? True, print, right? So can we have else block here? It immediately says it's a dead code, right? It is a dead code. It says it is a dead code because the value is already determined, right? It is it's determined. Okay, so now false. You can see the result. So the condition is true. That's why the condition is true. That's why initially this got executed, or the condition is false. That's why this got executed. Okay. So let us do one more thing. So let us have one Boolean result is equal to false. Okay. Let us initialize that one. Okay. So let us make this only one statement. A is greater than B, right? Result RESULT is equal to true. Okay. Else result is equal to false. Okay. And we can use the same variable. Okay. Result. Okay. Let us see. Now that particular dead code is eliminated, right? We are not able to see that dead code part, which was the warning, which we were used to see before we put this result, right? So the result value is calculated during the execution of this particular program. Okay, the result value is calculated during the execution of the program. That is why compiler is not telling like it is this particular part is dead code or this particular part is dead code, this particular part or this particular part. Okay, during the execution of the program, it will the runtime will decide whether based on the result of result variable. Okay, which part needs to be executed. Let us try to execute this part. Okay, so we can see only that condition is false. Which condition is false? This particular condition. A is greater than B. Okay, A is greater than B. Is A greater than B? No, that is not. A is less than B. That is why what we are telling, A is A greater than B? No, it is false. So that's why the result is false. Because the result is false, this particular condition got executed, but not this. Note that we have not mentioned anything here. Okay, not that we have not mentioned anything here. Even if you want to mention here, we can mention something here. Okay, so for example, you can mention result is false. Okay, let us do this way. True. Oh, sorry. Okay, note that two exclamatory marks are there in with second if statement here. Okay. So what happened? In both the cases, the condition is false. The result is false. That's why condition is false, so got executed. Condition is false, so got executed. So in both the cases, else part is executed based on the result of based on the value in Boolean result. Okay. So that is how it executes. Not only we are not telling like it should have a relational expression or the expression that results in Boolean value. You can also use a single Boolean value, direct value you can use it, or a variable. So the Boolean variable you can use it. Okay, that's what I just wanted to explain with that example. Okay, let us move on to the next statement. So so we have seen what is nesting, right? Nesting is nothing but you put the same statement within another same statement. Okay, that is if condition else condition. Okay, now statements. Statement 1, statement 2. Okay, this is your if else block. What if this particular statement is within another if statement? Condition. Okay, this particular if else block is nested within this particular if statement. It can have else part also. Okay, here also you can have another if condition. Condition else. Okay, this is nested within else block. This is nested within your if block. That is what is nesting. So we have seen a couple of examples previously also, right? You can nest. We have seen nesting for loop, nested for loops, and if blocks also we have seen. I guess if I'm not wrong. And this is what is called as a nesting of if statements. Okay, a couple of things we need to remember when nesting is. So if else statement is, you put one statement within another if else statement. The else statement, right? The else statement always refers to the nearest if statement. Okay, the else statement always refers to the nearest if statement. Let us see what does that mean. Okay, let us see what does that mean. So we are trying to concentrate on this particular part. Else statement always refers to the nearest if statement. Okay, we should be very careful while doing this. Okay, so what we will do, we will try to do one more program. We can do this. Okay, let us see the output of this particular program. Okay, A is equal to, sorry, A is equal to 30 and B is equal to 30. So which statement got executed? This particular statement got executed. Okay, here this else block. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to understand else statement to which if block it is associated with. Okay, so else statement, the else statement always refers to the nearest if statement. Okay, so here so the else statement here, right? This else statement belongs to this if block. Okay, and this else statement belongs to this if block, this whole if block. So this is not associated with this is not associated with this particular block is not associated with any of these if blocks here. Okay, any of these if blocks here. This is the else statement nearest to this particular if statement. This is the else statement which is nearest to this particular if statement. That is why these two are one block, if else block, and these two are one if else block. Okay, let me mention that in a better way. So what I will do here is, I will separate this part. Okay, and I will separate this part. So this else block is associated with this if. This is one if else block. Okay, and this whole thing is one if else block. So else is not associated with this particular if statement. Okay, so what we are doing here, this is one if else block. This if does not have else block. This if has this else block. Okay, so this is one if else. This is another nested if else, this is nested if. This is nested if. Okay, so the nearest if block. Okay, so the else block is associated with the nearest if block. The else statement always refers to the nearest if block. Okay, the else statement always refers to the nearest if block. So then, did it make clear? Anyone has any doubts regarding this? Please let me know if you have any questions regarding this. Okay, else is always associated with the nearest if statement. Okay, else is always associated with the nearest if statement. So for this else, this is the nearest if statement. So that is why this to our one block, this does not have else part. Okay, that is the one which I wanted to discuss. So next variation of if statement is, we have seen multiple if else here, right? See here. So we have, this is one condition, if A is greater than B or else. Okay, if A is less than B or else. Okay, if A is equal to B or else. Okay, we have multiple if else statement. Okay, the same thing can be achieved with one another if else if construct, that is this particular one. Okay, so what are we doing here? We will first test one condition, if, okay, A is greater than B, execute stmt1. Okay, else if A is less than B, execute 2. Okay, else if A is equal to B, execute statement 3. Okay, here also else execute statement 4. Okay, so what happens if this condition is true? This statement gets executed, or set of statements get executed. If this condition is true, these statements get executed. If this condition is true, these statements get executed. If none of these conditions are true, these statements get executed. Okay, that is what is the functionality of this particular if else block. Okay, that is the functionality of this if else if statement, if else if statement. Okay, based on this particular result of this condition 1, condition 2, condition 3 and condition 3, respective block of code get executed. Okay, if all these 3 things are false, then else block is executed. Okay, so I want you to find out whether this else block is mandatory or optional. Okay, find out and let me know in the next class. Okay, so let us see how this can be demonstrated. Okay, the same thing, whatever we have done here, we can take the same thing here. Okay, let us say else block. So the same thing, right? Whatever we have done here, the same thing I have done here using if-else construct. Okay, using if-else construct. Important point to note here is, okay, else is separated by if a single blob space. Okay, so in some languages you see if else, if, else if. Okay, in some languages else if. Okay, in some languages you'll see elif, maybe in shell scripting or some languages. Okay, it is important to note that we have both else, if, and then we have condition. Okay, so that is important to note. And then we have else block. If none of these conditions are true, then else block gets executed. Okay, so let us see whether we can test that one. So let us execute this program. So it says A is lesser than B. Okay, only one statement got executed. It is important to note that the statement associated with one particular condition, okay, that results in true. Okay, this condition, this is the condition which is true here, right? This is the condition which is true here. A is less than B. Okay, true. That is the only statement. This is the only statement which got executed here, right? This is the only statement which got executed. And then if you have any statement following the if statement, that statement gets end of if block. So statement, okay, that particular statement gets executed. So only one particular statement got executed here, and all others are false. Okay, so let us try to do this one. Okay, so equal to 0, B is equal to 0. Okay, which one will get executed? A is equal to B. So here, because A is equal to B, this particular block is executed. Okay, so now what is AB else block? How do we execute this else block? Anyone has any idea? How do we execute this particular else block? You try that one at home and let me know. Okay. So let us not waste time on that one. We can, I mean, if none of the conditions are true, say for example, we can do this way. Boolean is equal to false. Okay. Now we can do this one. False. Result. Okay. A and B does not exist. This particular value, this particular statement got executed. So this if-else statement, right? This if-else, and we will see that which one next. Okay. Those are very, very critical when you go to, I mean, when you are actually working in companies. Okay. There will be a number of business scenarios. Okay. For a particular thing. Okay. So such kind of scenarios are implemented using these branch statements, that is branch control statements, if statement and switch statements. Okay, that is why these two statements are very, very important for such different kinds of business scenarios. Okay, say for example, you have ordered something from Amazon or some other site. Okay. So there will be like you'll be having shipping charges, right? Based on different conditions. Say for example, you want one-day shipping, you will have 2-day shipping, overnight shipping, 2 days, 1-day shipping, 2-day shipping, or normal shipping, standard shipping. Okay, those kinds of scenarios are decided based on what you select. Okay, if you are ready to pay more, if you want it for free, that is normal standard shipping. For 4 or 5 days it will take for the shipment to reach you. Okay, if you want overnight, you have to pay some 20-25 bucks, right? So that will be like that is one particular condition. So those kinds of scenarios are handled using these if-else blocks. Okay, that is one of the scenarios which we can see in real time, right? Normal while ordering or any items online, right? Such kind of scenarios are handled using if-else and switch blocks, if-else, if, or whatever it is. Okay, so there are many other situations. For example, say for example consider any telecom companies. Okay, so you are ordering some broadband. Like you wanted broadband services from some company. Okay, Comcast, AT&T, or Verizon, or whatever it is. Okay, they will have certain slabs, right? For this particular speed, you have to pay this monthly, this much of amount. For this particular broadband speed, you have to pay this much. Those kinds of scenarios, you can have these things. Okay, let's move on to the switch statement. Okay, so sorry. So here in if-else, you have two branch of execution, right? Either if or else. Okay. In if-else branch also, you had only one particular. You have multiple branches, but only one particular set of statements got executed, right? Here in switch statement, it provides multi way of branch statement. Okay, based on whether you are using one particular statement, that is break statement, all statements get executed. If you put break statement, it will execute out. You will see how this particular gets executed. Okay, statement gets executed. So this provides multi-way, what is called as multi-way branch. Okay, multi-way branch. We will see why this is multi-way branch. So executes different parts of a program based on value of an expression. Okay, value of an expression. This expression has to be either, we will see what are these expressions, what are the values this expression should result into. Okay, it executes different parts of the program based on the value of this expression. Okay, this expression, what are the value of this expression, provides better alternative to if-else statement. We will see why this is better alternative to if-else statement. Okay, but in all situations you can't use this switch statement. Okay, all situations you cannot use switch statement. We will see why. Okay, so the syntax is this one. It starts with keyword switch, and you have parentheses. In that parenthesis, you will mention the expression. Okay, then the entire if switch block starts. Okay, then your entire switch block starts here. Open flag bracket, close flag bracket, or curly braces. Okay, then you start with this particular cases. Case 1, case 2, case n. Okay, then you will have default statement. Okay, these values, they have to be unique. These values cannot be, or if I can mention, unique. Okay, must be. These values must be unique. You cannot have duplicate values. You cannot have duplicate values. So there is one interesting thing happening here. Okay, break. Okay, so this is a statement. Okay, break is a statement. When this particular statement is encountered, what happens? Say for example, the value of this expression matches value 1. Okay, this particular set of statements get executed. Sequence of statements get executed, and when it encounters break, the execution comes out of switch statement and start executing the statement immediately after the switch statement. Okay, the any statement that is immediately after the switch statement. If we don't have this break statement, okay, so someone had some question, right? What was that? Kavita has does not go to other statement. Yeah. So yeah, it does not go. If you have this, what Kavita is telling is, if we have break statement, it will not go to other cases. Okay, you can say these are all case statements. Okay, these are all case statements. This is also a default statement, but this is also part of case statement. When none of this, when none of the result of this expression, right? If it doesn't match any of these values, the default statements get executed. This is the can get executed. If you don't have break statement, okay, so assume that I don't have break statement here. What will happen? The expression gets evaluated. This is matched here, and then it follows through like this until it finds the first break statement. Okay, we will see exactly here. Correct. That all statements get executed. Okay, so we will see that one. So break statements is, I mean, it depends on your situation. Okay, we used to do one program when we were learning. I remember learning C. Okay, in C also we have this particular statement, switch statement. So what we used to do, right? I mean, one of the program which I remember, which I still remember. So we used to accept within infinite loop, right? We used to accept characters. Okay, from keyboard. Within a loop, we used to accept characters within a keyboard, and we have to identify whether the input character is a vowel or not. Okay, so the question is how to implement this particular logic using your if switch statement. Okay, it's an interesting thing. Try to implement this one. Okay, or you can do what you can do. Yeah, you can try that one only. You try whether it is uppercase or lowercase. Try to implement this particular logic. Okay, check whether that particular character is a vowel or not. Okay, check whether that particular character is vowel or not using the switch statement. Okay, so that's what is happening here. So the expression, how does this work? The expression is evaluated, and whatever the value of this expression, that is compared with these values. Okay, this can be case n. So note that we have colon here after the value, and this is a keyword. Case is keyword. For each case, which is a keyword. Okay, and default is also a keyword. Okay, so the value of this expression is evaluated with all these values. Okay, whichever the value matches the result of this expression, that sequence of statements are executed. And if you have break, after the execution of these statements, if this value matches the result of this expression, you will come out of the switch statement, and then statement immediately after the switch statement. N. Okay, statement N gets executed. This is after the switch statement. Okay, that is how this particular switch statement works. Okay, any doubts regarding this statement, switch statement? So we have discussed no duplicate values are allowed. Each value must be unique, literal. Okay, and one important thing is the expression must be of type byte, short, int, or char. This is the important thing. You should remember that it should be of one of these types: byte, short, int, or char. Okay, this is very, very important. You cannot have Boolean values in case of expression. So you cannot use what is that? You cannot use relational operators in this particular expression. Yeah, Abhida has a question. If you don't use break statement in case val, it will go to case val to block without changing the expression or what. Okay. Hugh has an interesting thing. He has mentioned one thing, Hugh. So I think in JDK 1.7, string is accepted. Yeah, I need to check that one here. I haven't checked. I'm still working on 6, 1.5 and 6 only. Okay, till now I haven't. People are now seeing. Implementation. I'm seeing 1.7 implementation. I'm seeing now, but till now they are using 1.6 and 6 only. Okay, now everyone is migrating to 1.7 and probably in future 1.8. But till now I haven't seen, at least in my experience, I haven't seen 1.8 yet. Okay, yeah, lot of things are there in 1.8, like lambda expressions, all those things. Okay, you have some concepts in languages like Scala and Python and all those things. I forgot what is that particular thing I forgot. Okay, so in Groovy and all, right? Groovy, Scala, and so many other languages are there. Okay, so dynamic languages, they are called as dynamic languages. They are cool. Oh, okay, he is working 1.8 at what it seems. Yeah, maybe. No, till now I haven't come across anyone in my experience. I'm telling. So I haven't come across anyone implementing 1.8 yet. Okay. So yeah, people like, say for example, some startup companies and all are there, right? They will directly go to the latest version of JDK, obviously, right? So if they are developing something from the scratch or something new they are developing, right? They'll definitely go for the latest version of JDK, or they might start with 1.7 itself. Okay. So whatever I am working on, they are like 1.5 to 1.6, and now they are migrating it to 1.7. Okay. That's why I haven't seen much of 1.7 features and 1.6, 1.8 features. Okay. Yeah, it is interesting to note that they have brought in strings in cases. Okay, that is interesting. I'll check that one and I'll get back to you. Okay. So that's how this gets executed. So let us include, if we are using 1.7, we will include string also here. Okay. String also. So these are the types that are allowed: string, byte, short, int, and character. Okay, no other things are allowed. Okay, so this we should keep in mind. So how it works: expression is evaluated. The result of the expression is compared with each value. If a match is formed, sequence of code associated to that particular match is executed. If none of the things are matched or none of the values are matched, default statement get executed. Here, the default statement is optional. Okay. So if you don't have break statements, it follows through. As I mentioned, all statements get executed. So as always, we can nest switch statement inside another switch statement. Okay. You will see an example of this one in our next class on switch statement. Or if you have, if you want to try a few things, you just try to implement some of things that you see online or in your textbooks. And or if you have any doubts, you can ask. You can send an email to intuition.javatraining@gmail.com. intuition.javatraining@gmail.com. Or we can discuss this one or whatever the doubts you have in our next class. That is tomorrow 8 p.m. CT. Okay. So if you have any doubts, please let me know. Otherwise, we can conclude this session. So one particular, we will see this one in our next class. Okay. I wanted to cover this, but so we'll try to, we'll conclude this now. Do you have any questions regarding whatever we discussed so far? If you have, please send an email to Intuition. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll wind up this call now, and please send me an email if you have any doubts. Or we can discuss the doubts in our next class. Thanks, Kiran. Thanks for attending the class. Have a great evening. Bye.